Hello, folks, and welcome to CaliBased. I'm so happy you could join me. We have a very special episode tonight. I'm super stoked that Clint Russell would actually join me. So, how are you doing tonight, Clint?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Stunningly optimistic today. I don't know if it's just because my life's going well that I feel like we're gonna win. We're gonna do this thing.
Dude, I've been feeling this way for a while, even out here in Cali. It feels like the tide is turning.
All right. Hey, well, that's great to hear. I still have most of my family there. What tells you the tides are turning in California?
Just, I don't think, people didn't agree with this crap. A lot of people didn't agree with this crap from the get-go. They're just too scared to say anything.
Right.
And people are starting to just sort of accept, hey, I'm going to be called a racist. I'm going to be called a bigot. I'm going to be called a homophobe, all that stuff. And once you accept it, it's liberating.
All right.
I think people are sort of getting there.
CaliBased. Let's go.
That's what I'm trying, man. So, dude, there's so much I want to talk to you about. You don't have a ton of time, so we'll get right into it. But, dude, first off, this is funny. I have to bring this up really quick because I'm not even sure if you guys are aware of it. But do you actually ever watch Timcast on YouTube? And are you aware that Bud Light is putting ads on Timcast? Is this a troll?
No way.
Yes! On Timcast episodes, like every episode, there's a freaking Bud Light ad every time I watch. And like, this can't be a coincidence. This can't be a coincidence.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be theoretically, but if you saw it, you saw that yourself.
Dude, that's my picture. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure because sometimes people share stuff that they just saw someone else sharing. That's fascinating.
It's
I don't think that that's money well spent advertising wise because the whole 2 hours is just spent like dunking on Bud Light. So I don't know if that's going to help them.
Yeah, it's not going to help them at all. But I'm just, is this some sort of troll? So I just thought that was funny. I want to spend any time talking about it. I just thought you'd think it's funny. So
no, that's hilarious. I'll tell Tim.
I would love to talk to you about San Francisco because, well, actually, first off, you're from San Diego, right?
Yep.
So, like, what made you? I listened to your talk with Peter the other day, and that was a great talk, by the way. And
yeah, he's brilliant.
He really is, dude. Yeah, I would love to talk to him someday, but I feel like I'm too dumb to talk to him. But what really made you get out of San Diego specifically? I mean, I know you had it was like a mortgage company, right?
Yeah, it was a private mortgage company, owner operator, managed a couple $100 million for like 12 years. Well, I guess my company, I only did it for like 8 years, but I was in the industry for 12. The thing that made me move was having a homeless dude shit in my front yard.
In San Diego, that's what's crazy is because people don't realize how big California is. I've never been to San Diego. I'm so far away from San Diego. So it's like I meet people from San Diego all the time. I played baseball with a bunch of people from San Diego, but it's like a different world out there. And it's so beautiful. And it has a reputation of being like, its own beautiful thing. So that is shocking to me, the homeless situation.
You're telling me, man, I had spent 35 years there and I was feeling like, California's going to fall apart, but San Diego will keep it together. And nope. I was living in Carlsbad, which is like this right south of Pendleton, right south of Oceanside, northern San Diego, and just picturesque kind of beach vacation town, some tourism and things like that, all walkable little town. It's an incredible place. And there just started to be more and more and more homeless people and like full on encampments, and the cops weren't doing anything about it. The business owners weren't really protesting it much. It didn't seem like. I mean, some did. Some went to the city council, but what I discovered in that process was that the city council had already implemented kind of this ESG woke political ideology into itself. There was like, I think 3 of the 7 city council members were totally woke, and then two were good and 2 were so, but that was enough to turn the tide. And basically, Del Mar and La Jolla, they maintained a pretty harsh policy when it came to the homeless. But all of the neighboring towns didn't, and because of that, that's where all the homeless people went. And sure enough, I woke up one day and I saw a bunch of like napkins in my front yard, and I lifted up and I was like, that's human feces. This is a bummer. So
that's like the scene from Friday.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, you know?
I remember Friday, but
he's sitting in the yard.
Oh yeah. And when I saw it, well, it was that, and then also a homeless dude broke into my car and stole my wallet because I had left it in there, and I had left it in there because it was Carlsbad, and there had never been any crime in my entire life, and they ended up getting arrested and put in jail for a year. So at least they had to pay a price because they committed credit card fraud. But it was the decline started. For me, I started to really notice it in like 2016, around about, and then it got really bad, obviously, with 2020 and the lockdowns, and then everything just went to hell. As soon as the lockdowns were announced, I knew I was gone. But the homeless dude was like when I decided, okay, I need to move soon.
Final straw.
Yeah,
it's funny. Carlsbad High School. I grew up skateboarding. There's a gap there called Carlsbad Gap. It's like legendary.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the Encinitas YMCA is very famous too. It had the bowl, and it was like the first 12-foot half pipe of its kind, way back in the day. And I was actually a rollerblader, or a fruit booter, as other people might say.
Fruit booter, I've heard that forever. That's awesome.
And I was really good. I was, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years old. And at the time, I was the youngest fruit booter to drop into the bowl, and Tony Hawk was there cheering me on when I did it. So it was very, very cool moment.
I still don't understand the beef between skateboarders and rollerbladers to this day. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
I never had any beef towards the skaters, but they certainly didn't like us very much. So, right. It just is what it is. What it is. I'm over it. I've let it go.
All right, I'm gonna play some clips really quick from San Francisco because I want to talk to you about San Francisco because this place is just going to hell, dude. It's an absolute death spiral is the term that's being thrown around, and I mean with good reason too. So. Yep. Dude, there's so many clips that I want to show you, but
Frisco and LA are both DOA as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but San Francisco's like its own different thing. So this is just all these businesses that are closing aren't like here and there. This entire corner has gone under. Look they wrapped the entire building in this plastic. It's like the stuff they wrap boats in, when they dock them.
Yep.
It's this entire so that hotel right there, that's the one that they just gave up on. They said we're just gonna not pay for it anymore. We're giving it back to the bank. That's Nordstrom Rack right across the street, catty corner from it. That building's gone. Dude, this isn't like some businesses are closing and it'll come back eventually. This could turn into a Detroit type situation.
It could, and it should. Just because of the politics, the people there, unfortunately, are ideologically captured, and they continue to vote for their captors. So I don't have a ton of sympathy for them. I mean, if you're going to continue to vote for people like that and have them destroy your, a really incredible city. San Francisco 20 years ago was amazing. I mean, even 10 years ago, it was still pretty awesome. But it is it's a wasteland. You have like zombie apocalypse style.
So on that voting front, one of the reasons I want to talk to you is because you're a fellow Californian and you left. And everybody always says to me, you gotta leave. Like everybody's trying to get me to leave all the time. And everybody says too, people get what they vote for. Do you think the voting thing, bro? I'm sorry. I think it's rigged. I think it's 100% rigged. The mail-in ballots thing is just. I don't know. Like, I don't think. I think
it's a distinct possibility, but you got to keep in mind too. There was a recall effort against Newsom, and he got 70% of the vote, which is to me just makes no sense. I mean,
those are mail-in though too.
Yeah, but it's like if there is massive fraud, I mean, you would have to have massive fraud, like millions and millions of fake ballots to keep him in power. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like it just seems as if there ought to be some evidence of it, and I haven't seen that. And my mom is a conservative, libertarian, lino type, and she's in your camp. She's like, no, Clint, you don't understand. The vast majority of people hate the trajectory of things, and we're going to turn it around. And she says that every election. Awesome. Yeah, she's great. She's great. But I think she's delusional. Unfortunately, she just keeps saying it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. I'm like, look, I hope you're right. I really do. I would love more than anything to be able to move back to my hometown and feel, how I did about it in the 90s or even the 2000s. But it just doesn't seem probable, man, because so many like 1 million plus Californians left during the lockdowns, and those people that left a lot of them are like me. They're like the hardcore libertarian, freedom-minded or Republican voting people, and with them gone, I just think that cemented, the Democrat base.
Yeah. And I'm not. The only reason I'm still here is because I don't have kids. I'm not married, and if I had kids, especially with the school situation crap that's going on, I probably would have had to get out of here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I didn't have kids in 2020, so I didn't move for that purpose. But I definitely was, looking into the future and, asking myself, like, do I want to raise kids here? And for me, the answer was no. I knew at that point that it was like, this is going to be a really, it's already tough being a parent. You don't need it to be that much harder. And unfortunately, California is just, if you want to put them in public school, you're really rolling the dice. And even if you put them in private school, you're going to be taxed to death, and then you have to lay out major cash to put them into private school. And then you still have the issue of homelessness and drug addiction and all that. So it's like, I just didn't think the math didn't add up.
Yeah. All right. So the only counter I would say to that, and it's not a great one, would be, you'll probably agree with me, but not in the way that I want you to. I feel like it all starts here and it propagates out to the rest of the country.
That's just a fact.
Especially with the politicians. Like I haven't really dug into actual politicians themselves until recently. You've been down these rabbit holes for way longer than I have, and it's like, holy crap! Like every really bad politician, it's like, holy crap, you're from California too. Yeah. No, you're from California too. Every one of them. Yep. And this ESG Gnosticism crap, it's like it has just infected California, and now it's sort of propagating out. So I guess my question is there even any running from it? Is there any point running from it, or just going to fight it? Should I stay, Clint? Should I stay?
I can't tell you what to do, man. That's your call. But obviously I made my own calculations, and I decided that there was a better chance of defending liberty elsewhere. And I think there will be a time when you have to take a stand. I felt as if it was a fruitless endeavor to take that stand in California. My whole family's there. All of my best friends are still there. Just a huge amount of people I know and love are there. So believe me, when people talk about, collapsitarian style, where they're just like, I can't wait to see California just fall into the ocean. Like, I am not that guy.
Cool.
I desperately want there to be a re-enlightenment or an awakening that happens in California, because that would, as you said, all of the bad ideas that start in California and spread to the rest of the nation. Well, there's a distinct possibility that if good ideas by some miracle of God started to sprout in California, that would also spread to the rest of the nation. So I'm very much rooting for California. I just think that they have a stranglehold on the political apparatus in California. And because of that, it's going to require immense pain. And there has not been immense pain yet. It is coming, but it has not hit quite yet.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. But on the note that you just said, even including the California GOP is absolute garbage. Did you see how they voted today on this Adam Schiff crap?
I did not, but I'm not surprised.
A list came out of all the California all the Republicans that voted against this crap, and 5 of them are California Californians, including Kevin Kiley, the one guy that I actually really like from California.
Yeah, my mom worships that dude. That's honestly, I know Massey voted against it too, so I would like to look into it more to understand why. According to Massey, he tweeted out that it's unconstitutional, and if that's true, okay, maybe so. Go
ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say in the same note though, I think what Schiff did was essentially treason. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. It's like you have to punish this dude. If the fining him millions of dollars is unconstitutional, okay, well then bring charges against him. I don't know what else is there.
Yeah, so I guess that's my question. So that's what it is. I guess it was like 16 million or something, which does seem like an exorbitant amount of money.
Sure.
But
he also framed a sitting president for treason. So
right. so I mean, what is the punishment? Is it monetary? Is it, I think
it should be criminal. I mean, right. I'm not calling for anything, extrajudicial here. I'm just saying, put the dude on trial, and right. Whatever he's guilty of, put him behind bars for it. Like that. I'm sick of the political class, getting to run roughshod over the American people and never having any consequences. Whereas if we sneeze wrong, they put us away without trial for years, like the J6ers did, or like they did to the J6ers, I should say. And I want to see politicians locked up. A lot of libertarians don't vibe with me on this. They think it's an authoritarian streak or whatever. I totally disagree. I think that if you have tyrants that are ruling over you, and you are able to use the political apparatus to put them behind bars before they put you behind bars, you do it. And if they're committing criminal acts, lock their asses up. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, that is where obviously I'm very conflicted, because it's like I don't want the state involved as much as possible. At the same time, what they did they weaponized the DOJ, they weaponized the media, they weaponized every fundamental institution that we have available against a particular party and a sitting president. And after it's, yeah, I mean,
they locked us in our fucking houses for over a year. And so like, I don't care. I don't care at this point. Like, if people want to talk about, criminal justice reform or whatever, I'm like, no, put them in prison. Put Anthony Fauci in prison for the rest of his life. He ruined the global economy. He destroyed childhood for millions and millions, if not billions of kids. He's driven how many drug addicts that couldn't go to AA meetings died because of their addiction during that period. How many people committed suicide? Yep. I mean, cancer screenings, injuries from the forced medical treatment that he prescribed. It's like, I don't give a shit. Put these people in prison. I feel like that's being moderate, honestly. I'm being a moderate in saying that. And I think that people have this incredible capacity for forgiveness. And maybe I'm just not evolved enough, but I am not ready to forgive. You ruined the world. You go to prison at minimum.
I guess the question would be by what mechanism, though, because it's like all the institutions are infiltrated. So, what do we do?
I told you it's the moderate answer.
What's that?
I told you it's the moderate answer. If you can't get a criminal justice system to deliver justice, well, then other things start to happen. And I'm not going to endorse that. I'm just going to continue to call for the criminal justice system to do its damn job and put criminals behind bars. And there is no one more criminal than Anthony Fauci. So I just like them, the FBI. I mean, all of these people, they commit, crimes against humanity for real, not hyperbole, actual crimes against humanity. So if the U.S. justice system won't do it, all right, let's get the Hague involved. Whatever it takes, man. We have to put these people away. If they don't go away, and I've said this for a year now, if they don't go to prison, they're going to do it again. Absolutely. Let's see it happen.
You saw the new the CDC director, right? The new CDC director that they appointed, like the videos of her going around where she's just like, yeah, how we decided COVID policy. I called up my buddy. I'm like, are you guys letting them have NFL? She's like, no, we're not letting them have. Okay, good. We're not going to let them have it either. Like that's how they decided policy. They just shot from the hip.
You talking about Walensky?
No, her replacement.
Oh, I don't know the replacement. Doesn't surprise me though, man. It was all spitballed, unscientific, tyrannical garbage. I mean,
Everything.
this is why I think all of them need to go to jail forever. And I'm not even like exaggerating, like forever.
Yeah.
No probation, forever. And that is being moderate. I want to just really emphasize, I am being a moderate in saying that these people that committed crimes against humanity, how many people had to die for these people to go to jail? But no, they just go on book tours and they go on the news and they get to have these softball interviews with these scumbag journalists, which are also guilty of propagating propagandizing the American people into a psychological operation that was totally criminal in nature. This is why I'm a fan of RFK Jr. This is why I root for anybody that's, an outsider that the mainstream hates, because I'm like, I want someone who understands how grave what just occurred is. And if the American people don't understand it, okay, I don't care. I understand it. I know what happened. I followed this very intimately for 3 straight years on my show. These people absolutely manipulated the psychology of every man, woman, and child on earth. They then used their relationship with the biggest biomedical firms and just ruined everything. I mean, like, they literally ruined the world, the economy. Like, it's not going to recover for years and years and years, and that's just the financial damage. It's catastrophic. It's absolutely catastrophic.
It's beyond catastrophic, because you can't accidentally get everything wrong. Like, at what point does everybody, even the normies?
It's so much worse than that. They covered up the origin of it. I mean, they knew, and they covered it up.
Everybody just memory holes it, though. Like, every single time something new is proven, like, all the people that were like, oh, lab leaks a conspiracy. Oh, the vaccine's safe and effective. Oh, ivermectin doesn't work. And every time it's proven wrong, it's just memory hold. And just move on.
I was suspended in August of 2020 for tweeting out the lab leak hypothesis. So I knew this way early, and I was right way early. So believe me, your frustration is only, amplified within me. I am furious. And, keeping in mind, too, that censorship apparatus was a product of FBI, CDC, DHS, a whole bunch of government 3-letter agencies that were dictating what needed to be censored. They violated the First Amendment by censoring speech. That's totally criminal. Put them in prison for that. That alone is enough. Okay, well then how about we add on top of it the bioweapon, research that they were doing, that they lied about, that they had the origin story completely suppressed, even though Anthony Fauci was funding gain-of-function research through Peter Daszak, through EcoHealth Alliance, into the Wuhan Institute of Virology. He knew all of this. He knew all of this immediately. He actively suppressed it because he knew he was caught red-handed. You have to go to jail for that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to drop this. Like, people want to move on. I get that. I want to move on too. But you have to have justice. If you move on without justice, you're just being a rube. You're letting these criminals rule over you when they're going to think that they can do anything to you. If they can do that, if they can lock you in your house for over a year and force medical treatment upon you and your loved ones and fire you from your jobs if you refuse it, well, then they think that they can literally put you in a camp and execute us. They don't think anything of us at this point. I mean, we were this close. They had fucking camps in Canada and Australia. We were this close to camps. If we didn't have fucking guns, if we weren't armed to the teeth, they would have put us in camps in America too. It's crazy, man.
Do you know why I was fired in February of 2023? Just a few months ago.
Oh, it was the mask mandate, right?
It wasn't even a mandate. Like, I was on a construction site, a residential construction site in Pacific Heights in San Francisco, which is, it's like the bougiest of the bougie neighborhoods, right? Overlooking Palace of Fine Arts, like everything. It's a like true 4-story house with a basement and an attic. So this is like 6 stories. This thing's gigantic. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars, but it's all in construction phase, like there's no sheetrock. It's a construction site. I've been on the site for months. They all of a sudden decided to impose a mask mandate. And my buddy that I'm working with comes up. He's like, hey, they got a mask mandate. And I was like, you're like joking. I was like, I will not comply. Foreman makes a beeline at me, hands me a mask. I decide not to. Freaking, that was what you earlier you said, everybody's gonna have to choose when to like make their stand or whatever. And like I didn't even know I was making my stand right then. But dude, that's all this ended me up on freaking Tucker. Like,
what month was this?
February. Like not that long ago.
This year.
Of this year.
They're still force masking you,
dude. I lost my job, Clint. I'm still not back at work. And Biden's lying. All right. So I went back to the union. I went back to do commercial audio video. I'm an audio video guy.
Yeah.
Dude, back like 4 years ago, there wasn't enough guys to fill all the jobs calls at the union hall. Now I cannot get work. There's like 1-2 calls a week. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
So is the economy just screeching to a halt, or what's happening?
Well, so I'm in tech. I'm in Silicon Valley, and I built conference rooms. So everybody's been Zoom meetings. And dude, there is a commercial real estate bubble that is going to pop like oblivion around here.
Oh, I know.
It's so. Oh, I'm preaching to the freaking choir right
now. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm just saying, like, I agree with you. Like, it's going to be. It's going
well, I forgot that's like sort of your thing. Yeah.
No, that is definitely my thing. I honestly don't understand how it hasn't already happened. I mean, you have the era of cheap money has ended very abruptly. Mortgage rates went from 3% to 7%. Yeah. That alone should be enough to pop it. But then you also have the lockdowns, which drove so many, mom and pop businesses closed. Then you have, on top of that, the completely unaddressed, shoplifting and criminal issues, the homelessness crisis, the drug addiction that's being unaddressed by the governments. So more and more businesses, even the big businesses, are starting to say, okay, this is too much for us even, and they're heading out. I don't know who you're going to fill those retail spaces with. I don't know. Like, are you just going to convert them into homeless shelters? Like in Canton?
London Breed had an idea today. London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco, came out. She said she wants to do, it wasn't a homeless thing. She said she wants to do a science exhibit for the Nordstroms. Dude, this Nordstrom's isn't just like a Nordstrom store that closed down. This is like an iconic store. Now the whole mall's going under. Now the movie theater's going under. This whole thing's a freaking
dude, that area was like popping back in the day.
I get goosebumps talking about that. But I'm not joking. That's I used to take the train there when I was a kid, when I was like 15, and spend the weekend with my buddy, and my dad didn't have a care in the world. Like, there's no way people would do that now.
I mean, that is the heart of San Francisco, right?
Yeah, dude. Well, we're talking about the Tenderloin, but that Nordstrom's, it's freaking Union Square, right? Market. Yeah,
I've stayed in a hotel. I might have stayed in one of the hotels that's being shut down and walked away from. Look,
it's sad, man.
It's sad as hell. It is, but I go through different stages of grief. I go through from sadness to rage to reconciliation to acceptance, and I'm kind of in the acceptance stage with California, unfortunately. Like kind of zen about it. This is why I meditate, because otherwise I'd be a total lunatic, and I'm kind of crazy anyways.
No, you're awesome, man. So I know you got a bolt. So I got one question for you. I even wrote down the question that I wanted to end this show or end. All right, you ready? This is important, Clint. So if somebody is hired by the TSA, a dude, you're going to inherently have to do something gay. Would you agree?
Wait, if someone is hired
by the TSA?
Yeah. If you're a TSA employee, you're going to do gay stuff, yeah.
Even if you're not gay.
Of course, yeah.
Right. Okay, so does that mean if you're a dude and you're a heterosexual dude and you accept a job with the TSA, does that mean you're gay for pay?
Definitionally, yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. That was it.
That's going to be my new line when I go through TSA. They're totally going to put me in handcuffs, but I don't give a shit. It's going to be funny.
For sure. There's a dude that has it's not gay if it's TSA shirt too. You can order it.
Dude, I get harassed through TSA a lot. Like, I think I may be on a list at this point.
Like, you are for sure.
Yeah, I get pulled over for special screening all the time, and I'm like, dude, I don't wear underwear, by the way, so you don't need to know that, but it's true. And I always fly in sweatpants because I just want to be comfortable. And they always pat me down, and like they always check my groin out, and I don't. I'm gonna be like, gay for pay? You gay for pay, homeboy?
Well, if you weren't on the list before your last episode with Owen Benjamin, you certainly are now.
Yeah.
That was spicy.
Look, That is not normally what the stuff that I talk about, but whatever, you know.
Hey, it was an opportunity, and you had to take it. And yeah, well,
and I enjoyed every minute of it. I want to be very clear, not apologizing for any of the jokes made during that show, nor will I ever apologize. That is a comedy show. Tower Gang is a comedy show. You want to hold my feet to the fire? Hold my feet to the fire for something I say on Liberty Lockdown. Do not come at me with any sort of like sideways looks because of the humor that we attempt, because we're not even comedians. We're just attempting to make each other laugh on Tower Gang. By the way, for your audience's sake, as soon as we're done here, if you guys want to hop over, Tower Gang will be on in about 10 minutes.
Don't even finish watching my show. Just jump over and watch Tower Gang. It's it's way better. It's hilarious. And yeah, it's a comedy show. So yeah, you guys, you're going to get offended, but just deal with it. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Trust me. If you're the type that gets offended by Tower Gang, it's very important actually that you watch it, because you are the type of person that needs to have your comedic horizons broadened. You need to hear humor that offends you for a little while, so you can like reflect on, when did I become such a unbelievable pussy? That's what you need to do.
Yes.
Anyways, thanks for having me, man.
Clint, thank you so much. You're the man. Have a good one. All right. That was awesome. I'm so glad Clint could take the time to join me here. All right. I haven't even pulled up the chat. So Point Fire. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. Now I'm seeing all your chats. You probably had a bunch of questions for him. I didn't have time to ask him any additional questions. So let's see. Point Fire. Oh man, there's a few of you guys in here. Dominion voting machine, Soros. You're probably talking about the California stuff. Wally World, what up? Ivan Humpadabut. How's it going, man? Yeah, we've passed the point of no return. You appreciate us being optimistic. Yeah, we are screwed. Hey, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm here still, so I'm gonna stay positive. All right, let me go over to Rumble, pop that chat out. Northside, Terry Wallace, Pete Grabber, how we all doing? All right, man. There's so many clips that I had pulled up that I wanted to share with Clint that I didn't get a chance to, but that's fine. We didn't need the clips. That was fun. That was very fun. I need to. It's funny if you just ask. Sometimes I need to maybe have guests on more often. So, how is everybody doing? Yeah, we just got right into it there. That was pretty awesome. So, there's a whole bunch we didn't get into though. So, I want to talk about. I'm going to continue with San Francisco a little bit, because it seems like every day it gets a little worse. Not even it seems like every day. Every day it gets a little worse. So this is an article from the San Francisco Standard. I'm not going to read the article, but it has a list of all the stores that have shut down from 2020 through 2023. And this article was on April 15th. So 3 weeks ago. And man, these are big name stores. So we got the Gap on Market Street. We got H&M on Powell Street. We got Marshall's on Market Street. We got Uniqlo. I don't know what that store is. Uniqlo. Uniqlo also on Powell Street. Disney on Stockton Street. DSW, discount. Used to be called Discount Shoe Warehouse, and then they changed it to Designer Shoe Warehouse because they're super bougie, but that's fine. Post Street, they closed down. Abercrombie and Finch over on Market Street, they closed down. Crate and Barrel on Stockton Street. The Container Store on 4th Street. Athleta, I'm not sure. Sutter Street. Banana Republic on Grant Street. CB2 on Ellis Street. The Real on Post Street. Arc'teryx, they make awesome stuff. Arc'teryx makes great outerwear over on Grant Street. Amazon Go on Post Street. Office Depot on 33rd, man, and Anthropology. So that's not including Nordstrom's. That's not including the Nordstrom Rack. That's not including the entire Westfield Mall. That's not including the movie theater. Like, this is big stuff, and this is a crazy cascading effect. Terry Wallace, could it be intentional? It's absolutely intentional. If you ask me, this is absolutely intentional. It can't not be intentional. You can't get this many things wrong on accident, right? You're talking about San Francisco specifically. You're talking about like all of it, Terry. I don't know. It's madness. It's absolute madness. And even normies are starting to wake up to the fact. Sorry, I was very parched. That was a long one. We are witnessing the what's that word? Detrification? What does that word mean, Northside? Can you use it? Can you rephrase that for me, Northside? I'm dumb. I don't know what that word means. And don't call it Frisco, man. Call it the city. That's how you say it cool. People don't like it being called Frisco. You got to say the city, man. That's the cool way to say it. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they want to like drive real estate prices down and then buy it all up. And yeah. I do not disagree with you, Northside. San Francisco. I do. Yeah, San Francisco. I think the collapse of San Francisco is by design. I think the collapse of the dollar is by design. I think the collapse of like every fundamental institution that we have is by design. Yeah, I think all of it's on purpose. And like, I think the only reason San Francisco right now, like London Breed's coming out talking all her crap. Her and London Breed and freaking Dean, whatever that douchebag's name is, Dean Preston, they got into it talking about Dean Preston doesn't want him to arrest drug dealers, doesn't want him to arrest fentanyl dealers, apparently. And London Breed was, arguing the case for why they should arrest drug dealers or fentanyl dealers. Well, where was London Breed arguing all this stuff before? How long has she been mayor? The only reason she's arguing that now is because Brooke Jenkins came in and decided to actually do something about this. You guys can go back and watch a video. I don't have it pulled up right now, but you can watch a video. You can find it. Just search Chesapeake Honduras or Chesapeake human trafficking or something like that. You'll find a video of Chesapeake talking about how the Honduran fentanyl dealers are actually victims of human trafficking, and that's why they can't be locked up. Like that was their reasoning for not going after the Honduran fentanyl dealers. And yes, many of the fentanyl dealers in San Francisco, like from my understanding, the Honduran fentanyl dealers have that shit on lock. Like that's their turf, that's their city. So I imagine these people aren't people you want to mess with either. Like not the low level street guys, but this is definitely an operation going on. And I guarantee you they're greasing the wheels somewhere to allow this to keep going on. And yeah, this whole thing's suspect. This whole thing's super suspect. No, I say Frisco. I came up with yeah, it is turning into Detroit. It's so sad because it's San Francisco is uniquely special, a lot like New York because of its geographical location and its views. New York being right on the water, but San Francisco is not only right on the water, it's at a peninsula. And one side of the city is the freaking Pacific Ocean. The other side of the city is the bay. And if you go to like the highest peaks, you get the most magnificent views in the Bay Area, especially at night during sunsets. It's truly spectacular, the views in San Francisco. Then the history, the places you can go, like especially out like the Presidio, Crissy Field, the Golden Gate Bridge, like all that stuff's still there. It's not, policies aren't going to make the Golden Gate Bridge collapse into, well, I should rephrase. They certainly could, I guess, but you guys get my point. Like the policies that are leading to homelessness and drug addiction and all that crap and crime, like that's not going to make the battery point go away. It's not gonna. It's all the glorious stuff. That's my favorite area out there, like under the Golden Gate Bridge, Crissy Field, like that whole area, the Presidio. I love that area. It's just all the trails in the Presidio too. Like San Francisco is so unique because you can live in one of the most well-known cities, and you can go trail running. You can go trail running in the Presidio. You can go trail running in Golden Gate Park, kind of in Golden Gate Park, but there's trails all around, like legit trails that you can run. And San Francisco is amazing. It's such a beautiful, amazing, wonderful city. I love it so much, but it's it's turning into Detroit. It's like gone. Yeah. What, Terry? You're gonna have to Google what? Google Earth, San Francisco. What, you've never, Terry? I don't know where you live, so if you don't know the city, like, do Google Earth it. It's amazing. The geographical location of San Francisco is truly amazing. It's the fog has a name. If you guys didn't know, the fog that rolls in San Francisco, the famous fog, it's so famous. The fog is named Carl. Yeah, it's got a name. It's not like any other city, man. Like, Oakland's right across the bay, and it's got, I mean, just as bad, if not worse, problems. They didn't have an economy to collapse from the beginning. Like, they don't have the tourist attractions that San Francisco has, but they got just as many problems when it comes to like homeless and crime and all that. They got their own unique problems over there, and it's a very beautiful, great, unique geographical location as well. But it's not San Francisco, and the history of San Francisco. I'm like super down the Charles Manson MK Ultra rabbit hole right now. I did my whole last show on it about Uncle Ted. But man, the 60s in San Francisco were so freaking wild. So wild. Like, when I hear stories from the 60s in San Francisco, it really does make me want to travel in time back to the 60s in San Francisco. That must have been a truly spectacular time to be alive. But the history with the CIA in San Francisco is insane. The Operation Midnight Climax. Dude, you guys got to go down that rabbit hole. Read that book, Chaos, by I think it's Peter O'Neill, the Charles Manson story. That story is freaking crazy. Oh, Terry Wallace here in Georgia, man. Yeah, if you ever do go to decide to visit San Francisco, hit me up first. I'll tell you how to stay safe and where to stay and all that kind of stuff. Don't do it right now. Well, it would be cheap. I mean, actually, yeah. Like, if you knew where to stay in San Francisco and where to keep your vehicle and all that kind of crap, if you actually pay for underground parking, San Francisco is probably a lot cheaper right now to take a vacation. So, there's that, I guess. But you may not be able to find a hotel because all the hotels are going to close down because they're not making any money whatsoever. Massive real estate bubble is about to pop. Thank you. I felt like that show sucked when I was done with it. The one about Ted Kaczynski, I kind of felt like it sucked, but I'm glad you guys thought it was good. Here, let me play. I'll show you guys one of the locations that's closing down because it really is a beautiful. Like, the architecture in the building is very beautiful. It's quite awesome, actually. The Nordstroms and the Westfield Mall that's shutting down. It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all. Where is it? I want to go to that damn podcast. Sorry, guys. There it is. Sorry. Jeez. All right, this is my homie on Twitter. San Francisco Damn Culture Pod. She's pretty awesome. And I think she recorded this footage. So she's just replying to this article here. Exclusive Westfield giving up SF Mall in wake of Nordstrom closure. So Westfield is doing the same thing that the owners of that hotel over on California Street did. They're just giving it up. They're just saying, yeah, we're going to, I don't know if the word is default. They're just going to stop paying for it. And here, bank, you can have it. It's not making us any money. So, yeah. And this is the Westfield Mall. And if you stand down at this bottom level here and look up, it's spectacular. I'm sure there's some pictures of it floating around. Let's see. Maybe I can. Let's see. Nordstrom's and see if I can find some pictures of it. This is how I find Twitter is a way better search engine than Google, by the way. if you're trying to actually find like specific things. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Actually, I don't want to scroll. Man, that was dangerous what I was just doing right there. Yeah. Man, what was I thinking? That was dumb. Yeah, never do a search and then start scrolling through Twitter while live on YouTube. I definitely could have came across a wiener right there. The things I do for you guys too in research for this show, I find out the hard way certain terms not to search, and then just start scrolling through, and it's like, oh, there's a wiener. Just always. It happens so often. I hate it. Pete Grabber, what's going on? What does gentrification mean? Is that yeah? Is that just is that talking about different races, or is that talking about different financial demographics? What does the gentrification of a city mean? Yeah, I'm not sure. I should probably know what that word means since I hear it all the freaking time. Man, that sucks. I can't find a picture of it. Doesn't matter. I wish I could find a picture of the Nordstrom's that's closing, because it really is a beautiful store too. Well, a beautiful building. But we'll get off of that, and I'll go over to this horrible freaking video. Also out of San Francisco. I was going to show this to Clint, but I didn't have time because I don't know if he's seen this yet. He probably hasn't seen this yet. He probably hasn't seen all sorts of this crap because he doesn't have time to sit and look for stupid crap on the internet like I do. Yeah, this one from freaking Grindface. Look at this, you guys. This is awful. This is absolutely awful. This is in San Francisco, in the same area that all of these stores are closing down.
Oh! I got it. Oh! Hey!
So he open hand slaps both women unconscious, and then he kicks one of them in the head. And from my understanding, that could be attempted murder. That could be a charge of attempted murder. So that's happening, on the streets of San Francisco. You see videos like this happening all over the place. When did this become the norm? You know what this is a lot like? On like how fast it occurred. And when I say this, I mean men hitting women in the same way they would hit a man. Like, this came out of nowhere and it became the norm all of a sudden, almost in the same time period and in the same like short amount of time that thongs became the normal bathing suits all of a sudden. When did that happen? Like, when all of a sudden you go to the beach and everyone's in a thong? Like, what? When? Why? How did this happen? I'm not complaining. I'm not necessarily complaining. I kind of am. I do feel awkward sometimes. Like, I actually don't want all the girls at the beach in thongs. I guess I don't. It's probably because it makes me feel like a creepy old man. All right. I don't like it. I feel like, oh, I can't look there. Oh, I can't look there either. Eyes ahead, straight forward. And then I look down at my dog. Oh, there's an ass right there too. Like, I don't know what to do. It's bad. I don't like that thongs are the new bathing suits and it's just the norm all of a sudden. I don't get it. And I know that's a very strange analogy to make, but it seems like this men hitting women thing all over the place in the same way they would like hit a man. And this is all of a sudden normal now. Here, I'll play it for you guys one more time. You want to watch this again? No, just...
Oh! I got it. Oh!
Coming back for more. Boom.
Hey!
Yeah. So that happened. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know when or how this happened, but it became the norm, and that's how it is now, I guess. Yeah. And let's to to stay on the San Francisco topic, to put into perspective how bad crime actually is out there. This is from the SFPD, and this was from 1 week. Watch this little clip from 1 week: 15 shootings, 16 robberies, stabbings, assaults, kidnapping. Give us 1 minute and 20 seconds of your time, and we'll break down how this past weekend of blood and violence stretched the SFPD to the limits. I'm sorry, that wasn't a week. That was a weekend. June 9th through June 13th. That was one weekend. So we hear about the shootings that they want you to hear about. As long as they can take that shooting and it pushes some sort of agenda or some sort of ideology that they want to push, that's the shooting they'll talk about. They're not going to talk about certain other shootings. So let's play this video from the SFPD really quick. I got to turn on my my speaker. I forgot to turn it on before the show started.
This past weekend was violent and bloody and stretched our police department past its limits. While everyone focused on 2 large shootings that happened over the weekend, more shootings, stabbings, robberies, assaults, and even a murder happened at the same time. Almost every patrol officer who worked the afternoon or night shifts were forced to extend their shift every day. That's not sustainable, and it's not safe. Let's take a quick look at the violence that unfolded this weekend. 15 people were shot in 4 days. 9 people were shot at a community event Friday evening in the Mission. 3 people were shot Saturday night at a nightclub in Ingleside. One gunshot victim was an innocent woman in her car who got caught in the crossfire of a gunfight in the Ingleside district Sunday night. On June 13th, a person was fatally shot in the chest and the tenderloin. 4 people were stabbed. There were 16 robberies, 9 carried out with firearms. 1 robbery netted the criminals over $200,000.
So 9 robberies carried out with firearms. How many of those firearms do you think were legally carried? Now, if people were allowed to legally carry in San Francisco, how many of those robberies do you think would have still happened? Just brandishing your weapon, sometimes if somebody, it'll keep somebody from robbing you. And, there's the whole, is property more important than somebody's life argument? Yeah, it is. Yeah, my property is more important than someone's life. If somebody is willing to put their life in danger and approach me and try to take my property by force and threaten my life, well, they have forfeited their right to, live as long as they continue their attack and attempt to take my property. Like, I'm done with this shit. I have no more sympathy. The crime is out of hand. Just my heart is no longer bleeding for drug addicted homeless people that will kill you if it gets them high one more time. What the SFPD is saying right here is absolutely insane. And keep in mind, this is after they've already deployed the California Highway Patrol and the National Guard, the California National Guard. And no, you're not going to see California National Guard boots on the ground. They're working like behind the scenes doing like intelligence gathering, and they're going to assist the CHP and the SFPD with that information. They'll be able to tell them where to go and who's who and that kind of crap. But it's not hard to figure out who these. There's a dedicated Twitter page. What is it? I think it's called Fentanyl Tube. I think it's called Fentanyl Tube on Twitter. And this dude, all it is just videos of fentanyl dealers standing in the same spot. It's the scooter gang. It's like these Honduran guys on scooters that same corner every night selling fentanyl. And they know who these guys are. Everybody knows who these guys are. They just don't lock them up. It's like, if they can somehow remove the fentanyl from the equation in San Francisco, just that right there is going to drastically improve the situation. It's going to be bad in the immediate because people are going to be super strung out and like withdrawing like crazy But this is what we need. We need hard detox for people. We don't have sanitariums, unfortunately. We should have facilities that's like, all right, this person's breaking the law, with the whole camping on the sidewalk, being on fentanyl, shooting up in public, all that kind of crap. Yeah, I don't agree with throwing them in the same facility with like rapists and murderers and that kind of crap. It would be nice if we had separate facilities for people that the number one goal is to get them to detox, and then maybe even some sort of work programs where it's like you can learn a skill in there. You're sentenced to this amount of time. Okay, you got 2 years in there. Get a 2-year degree, a 2-year skilled trade. Come out as an electrician. Come out as a plumber. Like, we can do this type of stuff. Anyway, I'm just ranting at this point. I'll let the SFPD continue.
And property. There were 4 assaults, 2 hot prowls, and 1 kidnapping. It's easy to get stuck on the sensational, but in San Francisco, our officers know the calls for service will keep coming, and the work to protect our community is never done. Thank you for listening to this special news roundup. Remember to stay vigilant and stay safe.
To me, that was kind of like the SFPD trolling, like, not so much the district attorney, because that's not Chesa Boudin anymore. He actually did get recalled. And that I should actually talk to Clint about that as well, because he brought up how California didn't vote a certain way in the Gavin Newsom recall, but they did recall Chesa Boudin. And that says a lot. I really wish I would have talked to Clint about that, because I would have liked to get his perspective on that. His mom sounds awesome. She's still with me. She's still fighting. I like it. It's great. I hope more people are still, trying to fight the good fight, but I get it, you guys. I'm not going to talk crap if you decide to leave. I can't find work, so I'm looking at going to Colorado or something. Like, it's so bad. I can't even explain how bad it is. It's really bad, actually. Yeah. On that note, I figured out I could have been doing this the whole freaking time. I'm so dumb. Let's see. Look what I learned how to do, guys. Let's see here. I could just go ahead and no, I am dumb, apparently. Let's see. No, I don't like that one. Huh. Well, I guess I forgot. I was going to throw up my Give Send Go address on the screen. Figured it out last. Oh, I am an idiot. Sorry. Oh, I thought I had a banner. Oh, there it is. Jeez, I'm stupid. Sorry, guys. There. Jeez. So this is episode 31. I just figured out how to do this. That's how dumb I am. That's how slow I am. Yep. Yeah. Still learning the podcasting world, my friends. I'm so happy that there's so many of you that actually watch this show, though. And maybe I'm doing something right. But if you do like the show and you'd like to support the show, this is my Give, Send, Go. I like it this way because everyone can actually see how much the show has earned. It's not a lot, but that's not why I don't expect it to be earning a lot right now. I'm doing this more because I like it. And I don't get to talk to people about this crap. And it's on my mind all the time. And yeah, there's only like 1 or 2 people I get to talk to about this stuff with. And I only get to talk to them like once or twice a week. So I don't get to like get it all out. So I'm glad you guys are there to listen to me rant and talk about different things. But yeah, if you do enjoy the show and you want to support the show, givesendgo.com/GACW6. Apparently it is on screen right now. So yeah, if you want to support the show. All right, let's continue with some stuff. What else do I got here? Yeah, this is kind of crazy. There's the people are starting to go to the city and just get footage because that's all you have to do is walk down the street in San Francisco, get footage, post it online, and it's probably going to go viral. Like, it's so bad in the city that, like, all you have to do is just walk down the street and record footage, and it's like it'll go viral because this stuff it's mind bending. So this is the federal building, and this if for San Francisco specific content, this is the best follow on the interwebs. Darren Stallcup, this dude is the man. They always got him on Fox News now. He's like he's blowing up, and he's trying to relocate. He also has a Give Send Go set up because he's trying to relocate out of the Tenderloin. This dude lives in a freaking war zone. It's crazy, but yeah, Darren Stallcup, World Peace Movement. He's dope. I always show his footage on my shows, and yes, I do ask him if I can use his stuff, and he's always cool. So just so you know, I'm not stealing his crap. Yeah, just check this out. This is the federal building in San Francisco. Just a jaunt down the street past the federal building.
It was quite today. Oh shit!
It's so bad. So you know what always jumps out to me is, do you guys see these concrete ledges right here, like that everybody's sitting on? So you got a concrete ledge, and then the concrete ledge stops, right? And then there's a gap, and there's another concrete ledge. Do you see all these metal things on them? All these metal brackets that they put on them? Like, they literally drill a hole into the concrete, and they, like, I don't know if they bolt them in, but yeah, they're sunk in there. They're like, this is all to keep skateboarders from skating these things. And this stuff's awesome to skate too, by the way. Like, these ledges used to be prime time skate spots, and you'd maybe be able to get in like 2 or 3 tricks before you'd get kicked out by security. What happened? Like, now, so skaters can't come here and skate because they're gonna, damage the ledges, vandalize the property. Meanwhile, so this could be a bunch of skateboarders, that are actually going to spend money at stores, at local stores. They're going to buy sodas and sandwiches and that kind of crap. They're going to spend money. Yeah, some of them are going to be smoking weed and cigarettes and that kind of crap. Yeah, they'll litter a little bit. Some of them will freaking go back and pick up all their stuff. And skateboarders are usually pretty freaking respectful. This area would be a whole lot better if skateboarders was the only thing you had to worry about. If they just took these blocks off the ledges, the skateboarders that's a way to get rid of the homeless around the federal building. Take all these blocks off the ledges and put up signs that says skateboarding is okay again. The skateboarders will kick these folks out. They will. The skateboarders will make them move. They will. Guaranteed. Like, there's an idea, London Breed. Bring the skateboarders back to the city. Bring them all back. Go take all these brackets back off the ledges everywhere in the city. Go around and do that and promote to everybody in the Bay Area. Skateboarding is cool again in San Francisco. You're not going to get a ticket. Skateboarding is cool again. In fact, please come here. Wax up the ledges. Do your thing. Come back. We want you back. There. That'll help. London Breed, do that. And then start arresting the fentanyl dealers. There. 2 policy changes that you can make right there that'll help you. You could, I won't even charge you for that advice. All right. That's all I got for the freaking homeless. I think. I hope. It might not be. I might have another video. Hold on. Stand by. I got to close stuff out as I go or I get mixed up. Nope. I do have another freaking homeless video I got to show you. This is from Better Soma. Also a great follow on Twitter. Better Soma. I think this person owns a deli in San Francisco. I wish I knew the name of said deli at the moment. Dang it. Why did I do that? Okay. Let's see. All right, let's go over to Better Soma on Twitter. There's just a video he shot walking, I think it was Market Street. Just, this is insanity. Freaking madness. Freaking madness. Look at this guy. This dude's just walking around with a Stabila level. This is a really expensive level, it looks like. I believe it's a Stabila. Stabila. They're really expensive. I don't know why he's just walking around with a random level. He doesn't have any other tools. Never mind. It could just be like a cheap DeWalt level or something like that, but I thought it was a Stabila. Look at this. Freaking madness. Like, it used to be, you know, every now and then you'd come across somebody that you're like, damn, should I check on this person to make sure they're not dead? Like, you'd come across someone like that every now and then, you know, once a year or so, walking around in a random city or whatever. And then, like, now in San Francisco, you're like stepping over bodies walking down the street. It's truly, it's something else. Like this, I've never seen anything like this. It's insane. It's absolutely by design. Like, you know, I talked about last episode, like the CIA and the LSD in the 60s and how like tons of the LSD that was floating around in the 60s probably came from the CIA and like Timothy Leary at Harvard. And the CIA fled in black neighborhoods with crack. CIA's involvement in San Francisco, the history of the CIA with San Francisco. Makes you wonder, is the CIA flooding the streets of San Francisco with fentanyl? Yeah, that's a conspiracy theory. That's my conspiracy theory. I just came up with it. I've actually been thinking about it for a little while. But yeah, I have nothing to support that. Just throwing that out there. That's me getting tinfoily. So don't put too much stock into that one. All right. Go back to the comments. You call it Wally World. Do you live in San Francisco? You call it San Fran? When I was a kid, my dad said the cool people called it the city. Oh, yeah. Oh, Wally World, you're in Philly? Yeah, I see the videos coming out of Philly. That's called Kensington. Yeah, so Philadelphia, San Francisco. I don't think it's really happening in New York. I don't see the zombie crap going around in New York. You know, they all do this thing where it's like the fentanyl lean, I think they call it. Like, people, they're standing up still, but they're seriously like hunched over, like at a 90-degree angle. Like their legs are perfectly straight, but their back is just, and it's like, how, I don't know how they don't fall. That's the craziest thing to me, is you see all these people on fentanyl, and it's like drunken fist technique. It's like, you think they're gonna fall, it's like, oh, and they always somehow they catch themselves. It's crazy. I don't get it. The fentanyl balance is something that should be studied by scientists, because it's freaking out of this world. I don't get it. You always think they're going to fall, like at any moment, and they'll stay standing for hours. It's freaking crazy. Maybe the footage just doesn't last that long and they eventually fall. I don't know. It could be. But yeah, the fentanyl freaking crisis in the city is absolutely insane. So this is what I was talking about with Clint, that I wanted to pull it up. I didn't want to waste any time because I only had 30 minutes with him. So 20 Republicans across the aisle, 20 Republicans cross the aisle and vote for Democrats to end the resolution to censor Adam Schiff. This is a tweet from Travis and Flint. Actually, I'm not going to read his tweet because it's going to be obviously have a political skew, but yeah, there's a list of Republicans. I'll just read the list. So these are all the Republicans that voted against censoring Schiff. And, you know, from what Massey said, unconstitutional, $16 million fine or whatever. You heard Clint's sort of rebuttal on that. And I don't know where I stand on it. You guys, like, I don't know. I don't. Schiff should be in prison. Like, you know what they did to Trump. Everything was a lie. Everything. The freaking Steele dossier, the Mueller report, freaking everything for his whole presidency, the Russiagate crap, Russia. It was all a lie. And the number one cheerleader of it was Adam Schiff. And I don't understand how you could be a Republican and not vote for this. And it's suspect to me that it's like all these California Republicans. Well, these are the guys that didn't vote for it. So Armstrong out of North Dakota, Chavez D. Ramir out of Oregon, Siscomani out of Arizona, Cole out of Oklahoma, Davidson out of Ohio, Fitzpatrick out of Pennsylvania, Granger out of Texas, Graves out of Louisiana, Keene out of New Jersey, Kiley out of California, Kim out of California, Lawler out of New York, Massey out of Kentucky. It's like, that's the only reason why Massey and freaking Kiley being on this list is the only reason I think, okay, maybe there's something to this, because I have a lot of respect for those guys. And I even though I already called Kiley a bitch, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt here. So I definitely want to hear. Massey already came out and said why he didn't vote for it. So I want to hear what Kiley has to say. Anyway, McClintock, also out of California, Molinaro out of New York, Abernalty out of California, Simpson out of Idaho, Turner out of Ohio, Volato out of California, and Womack out of Arkansas. And then there was a bunch of people that just voted present as well. So, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't look good, but, you know, they're calling them all rhinos. I would not. Well, Massey's more of a libertarian anyway. I want to hear what Massey and Kiley have to say for themselves, because this is, I'm not jiving with this decision, guys. So I would really like to hear what you have to say. And I will give them the benefit of the doubt, because they've been pretty stand up, but I'm way more inclined to listen to what Massey has to say, because he always backs up his decisions with clear and concise reasons for why he made the decision he did. Kiley, on the other hand, I mean, he's always reasoned in the things that he says, but I don't trust California politicians at all. I don't trust the California GOP. I think all of them are bought and paid for. All California politicians. Just, it's just a soup of corruption in California. So, yeah, those are all the Republicans that decided not to go after Adam Schiff. So, if it's a constitutional argument, I want to hear it. All right. We kind of got into it, but I didn't even get to bring up Clint's tweet. I had Clint's tweet pulled up, and I didn't even get to play it for him. So, let's go over to Clint Russell at Liberty Lockdown. Let's see his tweet. Because you guys saw Trump's speech after his arraignment last night, I'm sure. And this is just a little soundbite from it. And Clint says, if they don't throw Trump in prison, I am pretty sure he is now unstoppable. So he's got this one here.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state. And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you.
Man, yeah, that's the man knows how to speak. The man knows how to work a room. That was just that tiny clip right there was powerful. However, I felt some very serious authoritarian undertones there, unfortunately. And I'm not even necessarily, yeah, I'm always going to disagree with authoritarianism, but I'll at least rationalize it here. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but with what they've done to him over the last 6 years, I don't see how he can't not become authoritarian if he gets back into office. And that's a frightening thought to me. The thought of Trump actually becoming what they said he is, that does scare me. So it is concerning. At the same time, I love what JFK is saying. I love the stuff that, RFK is saying. I love his message. I agree way more with his vaccine stance. Trump won't get off this vaccine crap. I don't think there's any possible way it could be RFK. This is like obviously never going to happen, but if somehow Trump tapped RFK for the vice president nomination and came out, he would never do this. And he came out and said, you know what, I was wrong about the vaccine. It didn't work and it is dangerous. And I was fooled and I shouldn't have been fooled and I'm going to do better. No way he would come out and say that crap. But if he did that and then tapped RFK or something, there's no way, if things aren't rigged, there's no way he couldn't win. But this whole thing is screwed up, guys. It's so screwed up. They have opened Pandora's box with weaponizing the DOJ in the way they have. They already had weaponized the DOJ with what they did to the J6ers. Before they even indicted Trump, with just the investigations, when they knew the investigations were BS, just that was weaponizing the DOJ, just that stuff. And, with it coming out that these 17 audio tapes, actually here, let me pull up this Chuck Grassley audio came out. Yeah, let's go to that. Let's go to that Chuck Grassley audio. Oh, there's so much stuff going on. It's freaking insane. It's so impossible to keep up with everything. And it's every day something comes out where it's what? What? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I think that's what the deep state counts on is they've realized that, holy crap, we can lie straight to their face, straight up. All the COVID lies that have been proven lies that have come out, nobody cares. All this stuff. I think this all started when Edward Snowden came out and said, the NSA is collecting data on everybody and categorizing all this stuff, putting people on lists, credit cards, phone calls, Edward Snowden breaks this bombshell story. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. I think the deep state realizes that, holy crap, the apathy of America, I think that's the right word to use there. Apathy, just that nobody seems to freaking care. They realize they can do whatever they want. and say whatever they want, and they'll get away with it. It's just the way it is. All right. Let's check out Chuck Grassley, this old turd. Well, this is a bombshell of a story that nobody cares.
That the foreign national who allegedly bribed Joe and Hunter Biden allegedly has audio recordings of his conversation with them. 17 such recordings. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and then Vice President Joe Biden. These recordings were allegedly kept as a sort of insurance policy for the foreign national in case that he got into a tight spot. The 1023 also indicates that then Vice President Joe Biden may have been involved in bereavement employing Hunter Biden. Based on the facts known to the Congress and the public, it's clear that the Justice Department, the FBI, haven't nearly had the same laser focus on the Biden family. Special Counsel Jack Smith has used a recording against former President Trump. Well, what is U.S. Attorney Weiss doing with respect to these alleged Joe and Hunter Biden recordings that are apparently relevant to the high-stakes bribery scheme?
I'm sorry, you guys may like Chuck Grassley, but we need to get these fossils out of here. Like, this is like pulling teeth. This is excruciating. Listen to this man try to get these words out of his mouth.
Getting a full and complete 1023 is critical for the American people to know and understand the true nature of the document.
And how are you still going to do a comb over? Like, really? How are you still going to do a comb over at 98 years old like that? Just let it go, man. It's fine. We get it. Like, you don't need, I'm sorry.
And to hold the Justice Department and the FBI accountable. It's also important for asserting constitutional congressional oversight powers against an out-of-control executive branch, obviously drunk with political infection. Remember, Congress has received 1023s in the past, and they've been made public. So asking for this 1023 to be turned over to the American people to read is not an unusual thing that goes on with 1023s.
So, like, that should be pretty groundbreaking info that came out, especially in the light of the Donald Trump indictment. Like, the level of things they're going after Trump for, and then the level of things they're ignoring the Biden crime family for, is just like, okay, the government doesn't exist anymore, or at least it only exists for one political affiliation. It's not even a political affiliation, because if you're on the left and you step out against this, they're going to hammer you too. Like, this isn't. This is the deep state. This is the World Economic Forum, ESG, the cabal, the freaking Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call it. This shit's happening. There is an actual thing happening. You can't freaking deny this crap anymore. Institutions have been infiltrated and they've been weaponized. And the deliberate collapse of our nation is at hand. Yeah, I'm going to, there, I said it. There. Yeah, I actually said it. That's what seems like what's happening. How can you say it's not? You can't get so many things wrong in a row like that. Like, just like you can't get everything right in a row. You can't get everything wrong in a row. And if you're getting everything wrong in a row, are you really getting it wrong? It's happening, guys. It's a conspiracy. It's a real one. I'm telling you, it's freaking happening. You know it is. You know it's happening. All right. Let's talk about de-dollarization. You guys heard that term? The de-dollarization? Because that is also happening. The BRICS nations and more than just the BRICS nations. Here, we'll talk about why the de-dollarization is happening, and then we'll go look at it in action. We'll listen to somebody actually talking about it. Who is it? Liam. Okay, sorry. Let's go to Liam McCollum over here on Twitter, and let's listen to genius Janet Yellen, who she's not stupid. She knows what's going on, but listen to what she has to say about the dollar. Like, I'll pause it about a minute and something in when she says something very specific that should make everybody's spidey sense tingle a little bit.
But if I may, should we be more concerned now in slapping sanctions on countries around the world and taking that into consideration and be more thoughtful as we may be creating a paranoia around the world where people are looking for other currencies to do transactions?
It is true that when we impose sanctions, countries that are afraid they can be the subject of those sanctions are motivated to look for other tools other than the dollar to engage in transactions. So
but even
that's
our
something
friends,
we have to accept. It is much more difficult to find other tools to make payments, other currencies, when we work jointly with
but we even have our
partners.
friends like France also looking for other currencies and pushing them.
You know, France and some of our allies were not happy when we pulled out of JCPOA and imposed sanctions. And but there, I would say there is virtually no meaningful workaround for most countries for using the dollar as a reserve currency.
Very well. And I.
Oh, well, screw it then, right? Did you catch that there? Oh, well, you know, we're not too worried about other countries wanting to get off the dollar because they don't really have a way to get off the dollar. So, you know, just don't worry about it. That's what I got out of that. Okay. I'm sure there won't be a new currency created, a digital one, that'll be coming out of nowhere and be pushed by the Federal Reserve very soon to replace this dollar, much like everything else is being collapsed, much like San Francisco is being collapsed, or our economy is being collapsed, our dollar is also being collapsed by design. They're letting it happen. This was something else I wanted to talk to freaking Clint about because he was just on with, I don't want to say his last name wrong. Peter, I don't want to say his last name wrong, so I'm not going to pronounce it. But he was talking about, like, there's two reasons why countries are getting out of the dollar. And the first one was when the Biden administration weaponized the dollar against other countries in a way that has never been done before. And that was when they seized the sovereign dollars of the Russian central bank, which is 300 billion, which was equivalent to 4 trillion in the U.S. economy somehow. But that's their sovereign dollar. So like that, it's basically taking Russia's ability to trade in the dollar away from them. And like once you do that, like you even want your enemies to use your dollar, that you want your enemies to use your currency. So they did something unprecedented. So now all the other countries are like, well, wait, if they could do that to Russia, they could do that to us. They could do that to anybody. So it accelerated all of this that was already happening. Countries were already trying to get off the dollar. And then they started putting pressure on countries about their like social policies, like the woke ESG LGBT mafia letter gang crap, like trying to shove that down different countries' throats. They started trying to do that too. So like that two-prong approach has just rapidly accelerated this process of countries getting off the dollar, de-dollarization. And yeah, I really wanted to talk to Clint about that. Maybe I can get Peter on the show someday. That'd be freaking awesome. I will ask him. Well, he is a Bay Area guy too. Maybe he'll say yes. That would be great to get him on the show. All right, let's go over to Simon Atiba and look at this freaking. This is the president of Kenya. And this is, well, interesting to say the least. The president of Kenya also seems like super based and like a funny, cool guy.
Traders from Djibouti selling to Kenya, or traders from Kenya selling to Djibouti, have to look for US dollars. How is US dollars part of the trade between Djibouti and Kenya? Why? And we are saying that today, Afri-Exim Bank have given us a mechanism where traders in our continent can trade in their goods and services, and the Africa Exim Bank will settle payments in local currency. That is why Kenya champions the Pan-African payment.
So what happens when those dollars that have already been created, that are overseas, that are used by these countries, what happens when they all of a sudden stop using them? They come rushing back here. We're going to get hyperinflation, guys. I think.
And settlement system that is done by our own institution, the Afri-Exim Bank. Why, members? Why is it necessary for us to buy things from Djibouti and pay in dollars? Why? There's no reason. And we are not against the US dollar. We just want to trade much more freely.
Pete Grabber, I get what you're saying. It was weaponized before the Biden administration, but it was never weaponized in this way. When they actually seize the money from the Central Bank of Russia, that's like their dollars that they have in reserve to trade for specific things that have to be traded in the dollar, in the US dollar. So when the US takes all that back, like, okay, that's like sending a signal to the rest of the world that they can do that. Like, it's never been done before. So that's according to Peter anyway. Here, let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can find it from Peter. We'll go to his actual page here. See if I can find his de-dollarization video. This guy's a great follow, by the way. At Professor St. Onge, so PROFSTONGE on Twitter. He's a great follow. Peter St. Onge, PhD. He's an Austrian economics guy. Let's see. It was a few days ago. He does a video every morning. Oh, you know what? Never mind. It was Clint's video. Well, let's listen. This is a 3-minute video. Let's listen to him talk.
Yesterday, Janet Yellen warned the American people that the U.S. dollar is doomed. Is the U.S. even trying to stop de-dollarization? Can it even stop it? Yesterday, Janet Yellen said some of the quiet parts out loud as the Treasury Secretary warned the American people should, quote, expect over time a steady decline in the dollar as the global reserve currency. In testimony before Congress, she was asked about threats to the dollar from the administration's unprecedented weaponization of the dollar as a political tool, most dramatically the seizure of the Russian central bank's sovereign dollars in hopes of sparking a bank crisis. It didn't work. Actually, our banks failed. Note, we didn't even do that during the Cold War because it breaks a sacred trust that the dollar will be there when you need it for all countries. Yellen first waved it off, saying countries targeted by sanctions are obviously going to avoid the dollar. By the way, they didn't used to do that because even pariah countries need stable and liquid stores of value. Recall Iran's pallets of US dollars. The questioner then noted that even friendly countries, including France and BRICS adjacent and petrodollar pillar, Saudi Arabia, are avoiding the dollar. At which point, Yellen admitted, yes, that's true, but she added that most countries are trapped, so tough luck. In her words, quote, there is no meaningful workaround to using the dollar for most countries. But what broke our corner of the internet is what she said next, that she expects the dollar to continue losing reserve share since there is a, quote, natural tendency for a growing world to diversify. This is a striking level of historical ignorance from one of the two people tasked with safeguarding the dollar as reserve currency. After all, the world economy has, in fact, been growing for about 300 years since the Industrial Revolution. And through those 300 years, there was no natural tendency to diversify. In fact, there was a tendency to concentrate in a single reserve asset, first the British pound and then the American dollar. Why? Because reserve demand has nothing to do with growing or shrinking worlds. It is built on the currency's ability to store value and its liquidity or transaction costs. Surely Yellen knows this. She has a PhD from Yale. She taught at Harvard. She's been both Fed chair and Treasury secretary. Indeed, she's married to a Nobel economist. In other words, she is lying. She knows there is no natural tendency to lose reserve currency. That's something you have to lose yourself. On the contrary, that natural tendency to concentrate is the whole point of having a reserve currency. In fact, it's the point she bragged about in the previous sentence about meaningful workarounds for all the weak countries that the U.S. can bully. China, of course, is doing everything it can to provide that, quote, meaningful workaround, while going by Yellen's speech, the U.S. is not going to do anything about it. Ever since I started these videos 3 months ago, I've been warning of threats to the dollar's reserve currency status. If this happens, the many trillions of spare dollars parked all around the world would come rushing home. That could set off double-digit inflation that could last for years. The dollar ultimately could lose half its value, which would mean a wrenching depression, the likes of which we have not seen in a century. At the moment, we are on the edge of a 1970s economy. If we lose reserve currency status, it could be closer to the 1930s, and the US government doesn't seem too interested in stopping that. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time. Yesterday, Janet Yellen.
Peter terrifies me. He terrifies me every day. Every day. He's not trying to. I'm sure he's really nice. He seems awesome. He's yeah. Very cool guy. He followed me back. That was very cool. Yeah, also Bay Area dude. The prospect of the US dollar no longer being the U.S. reserve currency is the likelihood of that is increasing every day, and it's looking to be inevitable at this point. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So that's something to be concerned about, guys. Yeah, as Peter says, we'll be watching. That was, yeah. It's yeah. Oh, I only got 20 minutes left. What stories do I want to skip? Yeah, I think I got to skip the whole COVID thing. I can at least talk about part of it. Well, which montage do I want to play? All right. I'll try to only spend 10 minutes on this because I got to spend at least 10 minutes on this horrific story that I came across out of, I believe, Tulsa. But before that, let's remember what they did. Let's remember what they did. Yeah. We'll close this out. Then we're going to go to, we're going to go to Tom Elliott because he put together a pretty good little montage of things that there's a whole episode I want to do called Lies They Told Us. This was actually one of the first ideas I had for a podcast years ago. I mean, it must have been, I don't know, 3 or 4 months into COVID. I wanted to make a podcast itself called Lies They Told Us because it was, I think I thought about this pre-COVID actually, because it was just so many things that had been proven to be a lie before COVID even started. And I wanted to start like a weekly podcast called Lies They Told Us, and each week would be a new lie that they told us. Anyway, I just want to do a whole episode on COVID lies, just COVID lies. And that's sort of what this montage is here. So I'll play that for you guys. And then we'll talk about it for a little bit before I go to an ultra depressing story. Maybe I should have gone to that story first, but it's too late now. Yeah, check out this montage. Pretty good.
You will always have conspiracy theories when you have very challenging public health crises. They are nothing but distractions.
President retweeting a conspiracy video alleging that masks do not work. The video was then removed by Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube because it violated rules against spreading misinformation.
The second most powerful man in the world, revealing himself in this video as a mask truther.
A major study finding masks.
Yeah, Pete Grabber, when Obama dropped those pallets of cash in Iran, that was crazy. Yeah, I get what you're saying, how, the dollar has been weaponized in a way where, we had it weaponized in a way where it was the reserve currency, so we could throw our weight around. Biden tried to weaponize it in a way that actually it almost weaponized the dollar against us. It hurt the dollar ultimately. He tried to say, oh yeah, we could take your ability of being able to trade in the dollar away from you. That's what he tried to do. And other countries saw that and they're like, wait, what? Nah, F you. If you're going to try to do that, because that's what the dollar was supposed to be, was anybody could use it, even if we're freaking at war with you. Like the United States didn't even do that to Russia during the Cold War. They didn't say you can't use the dollar. Like Russia was still trading in the dollar during the Cold War. All of a sudden Biden said, hey, Russia, you can't use the dollar anymore. And Russia's like, all right, this is a game changer. So I think that's the point that Peter is trying to make. I think I'm also super stupid, Pete Grabber. Like you probably know more than I do on this crap. And I'm sort of going off what Peter's telling me. So, do your own research, like I always say. All right, continue with the montage. My bad.
Made no difference in stopping the spread.
Mask mandates, it turns out, were an utter failure. It's not me saying it, but the New York Times. The mask mandates did nothing. Will any lessons be learned? Brett Stevens cites a comprehensive British review of 78 randomized studies with more than 600,000 participants.
So that wasn't scientifically sound.
Effective.
The mask guidance
correct.
was not
It
sound.
wasn't science-based, and the 6 feet of distancing was arbitrary.
All around the country, over the weekend, protests popped up. These morons and internet conspiracy theories, demanding an immediate end to lockdowns. And let's be honest, people, this is both insane and counterproductive. Because the more you gather in groups, the longer the lockdown will have to go on.
Did lockdowns during COVID prevent severe effects from COVID-19? Did it help in the arc of the pandemic? Economists from Johns Hopkins say no.
The report warned against using lockdowns as a pandemic measure in the future because of the low effectiveness on mortality and the consequences for the economy.
The lockdowns, in terms of their effects on mortality, we measured it against mortality, were basically irrelevant.
They destroyed people. They literally killed people. When you shut down medical care, in spring of 2020 alone, there were 650,000 cancer chemotherapy patients in this country alone. Half of them didn't get their chemo because they were afraid. They were told it was dangerous to go to a medical facility.
You weighed in on a theory that's been floating around that perhaps
the number of fatalities related to COVID-19 is being inflated because people are actually dying of other things. What's your...
I think this is the one that pissed me off the most, because this is how they created all the hysteria. This specific one, before the vaccines were available, this is how they terrified everybody, was with these fake ass numbers. Like, people still believe these numbers today. They still tote them. They still say like 6 million people died worldwide or some crap like that. Whatever the fake number was, like people getting in car crashes, died of COVID. Like, I haven't even talked to. I often wonder, because I've never looked at my dad's death certificate. And he died in June of 2020 of a heart attack. He hadn't taken the vaccine. It wasn't available. But he died in 2020 of a heart attack. And I often wonder what it says on that death certificate, what the cause of death was. I often wonder that. But yeah, I know a lot of people, COVID was not the cause of death, and that's what was written down. And this was like the biggest crime to me. And it was that apparently, you guys can fact check me on this, but if a hospital has a death at the hospital, if it's put down as a COVID death, they get X amount of money. And if it's put down as a non-COVID death, that amount of money they get is drastically less. So hospitals were essentially incentivized to mark all deaths down as COVID deaths, whether they were or not. From my understanding, fact check me. Maybe it says in this montage. Let's find out. What does Dr. Frickin' Fauci, Nuremberg Dr. Fauci, have to say about it?
Your read on that theory?
You know, Savannah, there is absolutely no evidence that that's the case at all. You know, I think it falls under the category of something that's very unfortunate, these conspiracy theories that we hear about.
Even the wackos, Trump wackos, are doing conspiracy theories saying those numbers are padded.
What should we say to people who conspiracy theorize about an overcount of the deaths?
Follow up now to my conversation with LA County Health Director Barbara Ferrer, who last week acknowledged the county may be overcounting COVID deaths by as much as 20%.
Could it be a secondary contributing cause? So, for example, somebody with kidney disease, COVID then pushes them over the edge to have kidney failure. That's COVID as a contributing cause. And then the third is COVID as an incidental finding. So somebody coming in with a gunshot wound or a heart attack, and they have.
And this chick, Lena Wynn, she was the most tyrannical, horrible person during COVID, like the stuff that she said. And then when it came out, like her kid ended up having developmental issues because of the masks and all that crap. And then she completely reversed course. And she was saying so much tyrannical ass shit about like how about unvaccinated. She was talking about like the carrot and the stick type thing with the unvaccinated. And like she legitimately wanted to like round up the unvaccinated. How these people became, they just want to move on from this crap. Like I agree with Clint in this. Like people need to go to freaking prison. Like straight up, people need to go to prison on this.
To test positive.
Now, part of the conspiracy theory is that the disease started in a laboratory in Wuhan.
Just weeks ago, Dr. Anthony Fauci rejected the conspiracy that coronavirus was man-made in a lab in Wuhan, China. And yet this week, Donald Trump is still pushing the debunked bunkum.
A lot of people on the right love that phrase, escape from the lab, because it sounds like something from a Marvel movie or a comic book.
Everyone who believes in the conspiracy.
The way she just said debunked right now, it reminds me of I swear Tim Pool's gotten funnier lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. It's like he's lightened up or something. Something's happened. Maybe he's getting laid more or something, but he's funnier now. Like he's legit funnier now. And when he says Pride Month, I don't know why. He just started doing it and it's funny. He just says Pride Month. I don't know. He does it in this funny voice. He says Pride Month. It's just, I don't know. He just does a funny voice and it's funny. And I like it. And I don't know. The way she said debunked right there reminded me of it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I know I'm weird.
Is saying that it came out of a lab in Wuhan rather than through food at a market.
And he continued to push a conspiracy theory that has already been debunked by our intelligence community. This whole notion that the coronavirus was...
And I don't know if you guys caught that right there. Debunked by our intelligence community. The people that have been running psychological operations on us the entire freaking time. This is Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, who's supposed to be the most anti-establishment person out there, and she's going and citing the intelligence agencies. It's maddening. Like, it's so dumb. You have to say, like, do you really think this, or are you being paid by the government to say these things? Like, that's how stupid it is what she's saying. And it sucks because I think Anna Kasparian's hot. Yeah, I said it.
Is developed in a Chinese lab. That has been debunked.
There's a report today that another intelligence arm of the U.S. government, this is inside our energy department, has joined the FBI in concluding that COVID began with a lab leak in China.
Is that I don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
Right?
See, she's hot. I'm sorry. She's hot. She talks a little too much. Makes her less hot. She's hot.
I certainly don't trust reporters. Because reporters treated this initially as if it was nothing more than a crazy, unhinged conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So who do you trust, right? You can't trust the legacy media outlets because that was their narrative.
It came out of the city that has the Wuhan Institute of Virology, a Chinese lab that worked on coronaviruses. And that is an awfully large coincidence.
Oh, God. Oh, it's infuriating. We were yelling so loud the whole time.
And that's what I've thought throughout, that was an awfully large coincidence.
It's really hard to watch, guys. It's hard to watch. All right, I already went over on that little segment there. All right, let's go to our final story of the evening, and this is a tough one. Like, you guys might want to end the show and not even watch this because this crap is freaking brutal. I'm warning you guys, this is tough to watch. It doesn't show a violent scene, but it shows a heart-wrenching situation. Let's just say that. All right. So this is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're going to go over to Tulsa. What is it? Something like Fox 25 or something. So Tulsa police released body camera footage of homicide involving a 12-year-old stabbing her brother. So a 12-year-old girl that stabbed her brother. And Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa Police Department has released body cam footage from a homicide on January 5th involving a 12-year-old stabbing her 9-year-old brother to death. When police had responded to the apartment complex near 46th and Perea for the stabbing call, EMSA and firefighters were already performing CPR on the 9-year-old boy with stab wounds. The boy was taken to the hospital that night in critical condition and later died. The mother told police she had heard a scream and thought her son was having a nightmare, then came downstairs and found her son. Her 12-year-old daughter told her that she had stabbed her brother. So, trigger warning, guys.
Yes, they're here.
Where's your daughter? Where's the knife at?
I don't even know what she is. I'm so sorry.
Come here. Come here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're just gonna put handcuffs on just for now.
Sorry, just
Where's the
I'm
knife?
sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I don't know what to I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Please. I'm so sorry. You better pray to God he fucking I am sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How old are you? Where's the knife?
I was upstairs in my room and I threw it out the window and it's behind the apartment right here.
You threw it where?
I threw it out my window. Upstairs.
Right up here?
Not right there. It's the room. It's the other room. It's right behind the apartment. This apartment right here.
So where would the knife be? On that side?
Right behind. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It's some demonic. I'm
Hey,
so sorry.
what's your mom's name?
So I don't know if you caught that. She said, "I'm so sorry, Mama. This was some demonic shit." And yeah.
What's your mom's name?
I gotta go with him. I'm so sorry. I don't know what the happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Come over here so we're out of the paramedics' way.
I don't know what I'm so sorry.
Hey, what's your name? A seat for me. Sit crisscross.
All right. So my first reaction to just her seeing her. This is actually my first reaction. It's like the second or third time I've watched this video, but I think she's faking all of this. I think this girl is an actual psychopath, and she's not concerned about. She's not showing concern. Is my brother going to live? Is he going to live? She keeps saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." She's showing concern for what's going to happen to her. She's not. If she really went through some sort of demonic thing and then snapped out of it and realized what she did, her only concern would be that her brother is going to live. I'm not getting any of that from this girl here. This, to me, is a psychological disorder, and this girl will kill again. That's just me. I could be completely wrong. I'm not a homicide detective or a psychologist.
On the grass, okay? Just sit there for a second. You don't have the knife on you, right?
No, I swear I don't. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Is there anybody else inside the house?
No, it's just me, my mom, and my brother. He's dying.
Hey, how would I get to the knife? Is there the back side?
I can show you.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I really didn't want things to happen like this. This sucks. I'm so sorry. You're probably gonna go to jail. I'm gonna live the rest of my life in prison.
You see, I probably would have went to jail. I'm probably going to go to jail. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail. She's not showing remorse for what she did. She's showing concern about what's going to happen to her.
That's it right there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Favor, we're going to sit crisscross applesauce right here.
Okay.
Which one is it? First apartment right here. Take him. She threw the knife over here.
Stay there.
It's right there.
Okay.
Also, she threw the knife out the window. So that tells me that her first thought after stabbing her brother to death, essentially, was to try to hide the murder weapon, was to try to conceal the crime. Like, she probably was trying to think of how she could get away with it. So this is all telling me that this wasn't some sort of demonic possession. This girl's a psycho, and she killed her brother.
Stick your hands out like this for me. Do you have any cuts on you?
I do.
Where at?
On my arm.
Which arm?
Both of them. My left one is just small cuts.
Did you cut yourself?
Yes. Actually, I'm at my right arm. It just has the small cuts, and then my left one has the cuts. I'm sorry. I don't know what the I did.
Mom, and then fire and IMSA was. Hey, real quick, I'm gonna take you out of handcuffs and I'm gonna take your hoodie off, okay? That way we can see the cut that you have. Take her hood off for me. Is it just those? Those look old. Are they old?
Oh, those.
Yeah, those are a little.
This one, those are old with like.
Do you have any new?
One that's brand new. This was brand
That's
new.
from today?
Yes. And it's so.
The same knife?
Yes.
Okay. Can you watch her for just a second? Do what?
What was that?
Can you watch her for just a second so I can get in her glove?
I got no glove.
I'm so sorry. What's happening with her? I'm so sorry. What's gonna happen with her? I need to go to the hospital.
I don't know yet. You don't know yet. You go with the hospital. We'll come and talk to you, okay?
Whatever happens, just be calm, okay? I don't know what happened tonight. I'm so sorry. We'll figure it out. I have to go be with your brother.
No words. You hear that mother, she comes up to her daughter after her daughter just stabbed her son, her 9-year-old son. Her 12-year-old daughter stabbed her 9-year-old son, and she's not sure if her 9-year-old son's going to live. And she still goes up to her daughter and shows compassion. Like, she doesn't know what happened, but it's still her daughter. You can tell she still loves her daughter. But now that mom, her son is dead. She has to bury her son. And her daughter is going to spend a very long time in prison. And that mom is broken. Sounds like she was a single mom as well. Probably struggling. How often does crap like this happen? It feels like just society is crumbling. Just people are breaking everywhere, just left and right, psychologically breaking. And you have to ask, is that by design? You know? Yeah, it is weird that she wasn't asking for her mom, you know? Yeah. Central Spotlight, you think she had remorse? I don't know. Yeah. She attempting to Pete Grabber attempting to gain empathy from the law enforcement. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know the read that I got, but I mean, I'm probably biased in a certain regard. Yeah, I don't think that girl felt any empathy whatsoever, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Maybe it was some sort of demonic possession and she had some sort of psychological break. Who knows? All I know is that is a tragic ass story. And, you know, it's probably not going to make the news. So I wanted to talk about it. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I will. I was going to try not to end the show with a joke just because it didn't seem right after that. But no, I'm going to tell a joke because, you know, why not? That's how we roll. All right, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you want to support the show, I already told you how. But please give the show a like. That would be very helpful. That's my biggest thing. The best way to help the show is give the show a like, share it with your friends, tell somebody that it's cool, that kind of thing. Especially if you're a Californian. If you're a Californian and you're sick of the BS, please tell other Californians about the show. They might like it. Who knows? All right. But we end every show with a joke from the best book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. It's going to be a random one that I just open up to, and we're going to see what it is. Okay. All right. You guys ready? All right. Here's the Chuck Norris joke. All right. There's a little known fact that only 3 things will survive the apocalypse: cockroaches, Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris's beard. All right, folks. On that note, stay CaliBased.